Welcome to Taste Buds. I'm Debra Eckerling, goal strategist, writer, and foodie. And today I'm speaking with New York's bagel ambassador, Sam Silverman. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to chat with you because, well, bagels, but I need to know, is bagel ambassador an actual thing? And if so, how did that happen? That's so cool.
Um, it is official in the sense that someone in the community gave me this nickname. The folks at Utopia Bagels, which is one of the most esteemed and respected bagel shops in the world. So I think them bestowing Bagel Ambassador upon me has made it official enough. Now, have I been appointed to a government position? Not yet, but never say never.
So working toward it, where did the love of bagels come from?
I was born into it, Deb. I've always loved bagels. They've always been my favorite food. I grew up in a Jewish family in Worcester, Massachusetts. And from the earliest memories that I have, bagels were always a part of our life, a part of our household. And it has always been my favorite food. My family called me a bagel-tarian growing up because I had them so frequently, virtually with every meal. And, when I moved to New York 10 years ago, and I had my first New York bagel and realized that I'd been eating bagel-shaped bread my entire life,
Oh, no.
it just ignited this passion and this, desire to explore New York through the lens of finding the best bagels, which led me to discovering New York had never had a bagel festival, so started that, and over the past 7 years, BagelFest has snowballed into an entire company, BagelUp, that is all about celebrating bagels, the culture, and the people behind them.
Is it difficult to get people as excited about bagels as you are? Or not really?
No, and that's why I took the leap to do this thing is I realized that there are tons of people out there who are just as enthusiastic, maybe not quite as but like rivaling my enthusiasm. This food evokes such amazing nostalgia and comfort and feelings of joy and excitement. It's really not difficult to find other people who feel this way about bagels.
And are there other bagel-tarians in your posse? Or is that just you?
There are several. Yeah, there are tons. Over the past 7 years, we've developed a community. It really is a community of people who feel just as strongly about this food, and, they're from all corners of the world. It's not just New York, but bagels are having a moment around the country, around the world, and our Bagel Up community brings everyone together in a centralized place. So it's really amazing to see this food spread from what was classically known as a New York centric and maybe a Montreal centric food to places like Australia and Europe. And yeah, it's been fascinating to watch.
Well, I am based in LA, and I have to tell you that bagel shops are popping up all over. It really is having a moment. Near where I live, in I would say 3 blocks, there is a bagel food truck and 2 bagel shops. Same street.
And it's probably still not enough.
If I were them, I don't know that I would be too thrilled to have so much competition on the same street.
Yeah. It's actually easily explainable and it distills into three main factors. Number one, the bagel has become a vehicle for a sandwich. This was not historically true. Bagels used to be eaten on their own, maybe with some cream cheese, but really as a snack or as a roll. Over the past 50 years, it's become a vehicle for bacon, egg, and cheese, a fully loaded lox sandwich, a BLT, which has helped bagel shops become more profitable. So it's no longer just a bakery that's selling bread, it's an actual sandwich shop that's selling sandwiches, which are a much higher margin. Number two, the pandemic. So not only did this cause an exodus of New Yorkers and Northeasterners who went to other parts of the country and settled in other parts of the world and brought their standards for bagels and their love for bagels with them, but many people who were stuck at home started to bake. And some of those people started baking bagels. And some of those people realized, I don't have to go back to what I was doing before. I can turn this into a business. And since the pandemic, we've seen this real explosion of artisan bagel makers and bagel shops pop up. The third and final factor is the internet. So that has unlocked the knowledge about how to make a great bagel in a way that simply has never been accessible before. The bagel and the secret of how it was made was kept tight to the chest by the members of the Bagel Bakers Union, the local 338, that ran the New York bagel scene in New York City in the early parts of the 20th century, from the 1910s to the 1950s. You literally had to be the son of a bagel maker to get admitted into the union and to learn the secrets of the trade. But today, anybody with an internet connection can access that secret information, and it's become totally democratized. So we're seeing entrepreneurs and creators and bakers all over take advantage of that.
And are you also a bagel baker, not just an eater?
I would call myself a hobbyist bagel baker. I've never done it on a professional level, but I do teach people how to make their own bagels. And so I've made quite a few in my day. But I'm not comparing myself to the people that do it professionally, who do it way, 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 way better than I can do it.
And what makes a good bagel?
Has to be boiled before it's baked. That's the real key to a great bagel. That's how you get the textural contrast, the crunchy outside and the soft, chewy inside. A lot of people ask about the water. Is it the water that makes bagels great? It is not the water, okay? It is making your bagel, your dough, with a high gluten flour, letting it ferment at least overnight, if not longer. So putting it in a cold environment and letting that yeast eat the sugars and the barley malt or whatever sweetener in the flour. And then the next day or a couple days later, boiling, then seeding and baking it. Those are really the key steps in the bagel making process that cannot be skipped. Otherwise, it's just a roll with a hole.
Which is what you grew up on and you didn't even know.
How could you know? You don't know what you don't know, right? So that's why my life's mission is to educate people on what they are missing out on to raise the global bagel standards.
Let's talk schmear. What is your ideal, or do you just have a different one for every day of the week?
My personal favorite is the scallion schmear. I like an everything bagel scallion schmear, not toasted. That's my litmus test that I get at every new bagel shop I visit, which at this point is in the hundreds, if not the thousands. And the beautiful thing, though, is the schmear is where the creativity of the local artisans really sings. That's where they can infuse whatever, you know, whatever they're it's their canvas. And so I do like to try a creative schmear. Lately, I've been jamming on an avocado herb cream cheese that has some avocado, has some dill in it. I like a za'atar schmear with that Middle Eastern spice mixed in. Really, the sky's the limit when it comes to schmear. I don't feel the same way about bagels, though.
Okay, and you also have a schmear hack. I think this is a good time to tell people what that is.
Sure, sure do. So most people don't know. The majority of bagel shops in New York use Philadelphia cream cheese as their base. Now, there's one issue with Philadelphia cream cheese. Have you ever tried to spread it, Deb, when it's cold out the fridge?
No, because I get the tub.
You get the whipped tub.
Yeah, I get the
Okay.
whipped tub because for that reason. I mean,
Because
those are good for cheesecake, but making it spreadable, it's like butter, like that consistency, right?
yes, you're exactly dead on. So, my hack about how to take that block, that brick of cream cheese, and to make it into a more spreadable schmear and vehicle is to add a tablespoon of seltzer water. The carbonation from the seltzer helps to soften and whip up that cream cheese, and you can then mix in your own scallions, your veggies, your cut up lox, your blueberries, whatever cream cheese flavor that you want to create. And if you just mix that by hand, it's going to be 10 times better than the premixed stuff you get at the grocery store because they actually have to dehydrate all those fruits, veggies, and other additives so they don't go moldy on the shelf. So if you want to make a delicious schmear at home, all you need is a block of plain Philly, a dash of seltzer water, and whatever ingredients you want to mix into it.
Oh, that sounds like fun science projects.
100%. And it's super easy. It's a little bit of a mess. You probably want to wear gloves when you're mixing it up, but
Mhm.
a lot of fun.
Oh, so but you're talking hand mixing as in use your hands to mix,
Yeah. Just
not
throw it in
like
the
a
bowl.
cube mixer.
No,
Okay. Oh, right?
no. Throw it in the bowl, throw a glove on, mix
Oh,
it on up. It's going to be golden.
that's perfect. Okay, so what if somebody bought like a whipped cream cheese and then they added their own flavors to that? Is that also a way
That's
to go?
totally acceptable. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
But then you skip the mess.
but you're saying buying it flavored isn't gonna be nearly as good as flavor.
That is correct. Yes.
What other bagel education what don't I know? Bagel educate me some more.
Oh my goodness. Well, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, that the bagel originated as a Polish peasant food. The very first written account of it is from the year 1610. And there's a story that it was born as a response to anti Semitic laws that prevented Jewish bakers from making bread. The loophole to get around it is that they boiled the dough before they baked it, wasn't technically considered bread, and that's how the bagel was born. So a ring-shaped bread is not unique to Jewish food or Jewish culture, but the bagel in particular and the step of boiling it before it's baked is something that can be traced back in Jewish lineage, over 400 years, if not longer than that. Um, yeah.
Oh, and see, I actually didn't know that. That was
Okay.
fascinating. Where does the bialy fit in?
So the bialy is another Polish food that originated in Białystok in Poland. And at the same time that Jewish immigrants left Eastern Europe and looked for new lives in London, in Montreal, in New York City in the late 1800s when they were fleeing the pogroms that were happening there, they brought these foods from their homelands with them. The bagel and the bialy both arrived and became quite popular in New York, but very few people know what a bialy is relative to the bagel in modern mainstream American culture because of Lender's Bagels. Do you remember Lender's Bagels? Is Lender's Bagels familiar to you?
Yes. Well, I grew up in the Midwest, so I did grow up with
Okay.
bagels.
Yes. And you probably grew up eating
Mhm.
Lender's Bagels straight from the freezer aisle of the grocery store. So Murray Lender and his brothers really single-handedly introduced this food into American breakfast culture, and they turned it from something that was perceived as an ethnic Jewish food into a staple part of an all-American breakfast. And the bialy never got that same commercialization effort, and so it's still considered a sort of niche Jewish food that's relatively hard to find, especially hard to find a good one.
There you go. Okay, so how can people who don't live in New York get on your bagel bandwagon?
We've got a flourishing online community. I'm Bagel Ambassador on Instagram and TikTok, and you can follow along there for news, updates, stories, recipes, everything related to bagel culture. And I would recommend that if you're not around New York, you plan a trip to New York City for BagelFest, which is coming up. The seventh annual New York Bagel Fest will be sometime in November. We're still working on the date, but it takes place at Citi Field. And we gather 25 of the best bagel makers from around the world who come and sample their signature bites. So as an attendee, you get to walk around, taste all these amazing creations, and then vote for your favorites who go on. The winners of that have gone on to raise tens of millions of dollars in funding, like Pop-Up Bagels, or be nominated for James Beard Awards, like Starship Bagel from Dallas, Texas. So it's a really fun, meaningful event that is high stakes for the bagel shops, but for everyone attending, the most delicious day of the year.
And would you ever consider doing the Bagel Fest, bringing it out west?
I would indeed. Yeah. I think there's a growing, as you mentioned, There's a growing scene. There's bagel shops popping up left and right all over the West Coast, not just in LA. We're seeing it in the Bay Area. We're seeing it in other states surrounding California. So something that we're strongly considering looking into. We might even have some news for you in the next few weeks regarding that, but nothing that I'm ready to announce quite yet.
Okay. Well, you now have a connection to the West Coast, so I will love to be kept posted on your bagel antics, as it were. Just going back to bagel basics, what is it about the bagel that you think is so important, especially in connection with Jewishness and family?
That's such a great question. There's a lot of things, but one that I posted about recently that got a lot of traction was the idea that the bagel has successfully assimilated into American culture. And that is something that Jews in America can relate to in some way, shape, or form. The Jewish people have certainly assimilated, and yet at the same time, we still feel separate from the larger American culture. And so I think the bagel as a success story of Jewish culture is one of the reasons that it's become such a popular food within Jewish communities. But then outside of it, it's just like hot bread speaks to the soul, and it's a food that is intensely personalizable. So, out of all the bagels and schmears and toppings that you could put on it, there are tens, if not hundreds of millions of combinations. And out of all of those, there's the perfect combination for each and every one of us. And that sort of level of customization and a feeling of ownership over that sandwich, that combo, that bagel shop is something that really hooks people in a way that other foods can't.
And you already shared your favorite bagel, but I think we need to hear it again.
Everything bagel, scallion cream cheese, not toasted. Okay. That's my other tip. Never toast a fresh bagel. If you are going to toast it, instead of slicing and toasting, you want to rinse it under warm water, toast it whole, and then slice it afterwards, maintaining that crunchy outside and the soft, chewy inside.
Ooh, I like that. I'm with you though. If it's a fresh bagel, why would you bother?
100%. Now, Deb, what is your favorite bagel?
I love an everything bagel, but I'm also one of those fruit bagel people. So if there's a blueberry bagel or cinnamon raisin, oh, am I hurting you
You're,
from the
you're,
inside?
you're, you're showing your Midwest color.
Is that an ostrich? Probably. But honestly, if it is a warm, fresh bagel, even plain, as long as there's a good schmear on it, I'm golden.
Can't go wrong.
You cannot go wrong. And I'm gonna put a twist on the question. If you were any kind of bagel, what kind of bagel would you be?
Oh, man. That's so good. I mean, I wanna say everything bagel because it's the best, but that's just the most basic answer that I could give. So, and I salt bagel came to mind because but I'm not really that salty. I'm warm. Um, I would say maybe I'm a flagel because, I've got a big surface area, a big heart to bring in all these amazing spreads and toppings and everything, and I'm helping spread everything around. So let's say a flagel.
A flagel is what?
Oh, it's a flat bagel. The bagel is flat, yeah.
Oh, so it's room for all the goodness. I would have to say for me, it would be everything bagel because I'm always in a lot of different projects. So that's
Big part.
definitely the flavor that speaks to me. Oh my goodness. This has been so much fun. Thank you, Sam. Where can people learn more about you and Bagel Up and sharing the bagel love?
Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been very fun conversation, great questions, and, bagelup.com or again, Instagram, TikTok, Bagel Ambassador, Bagel Up. You'll find us there, and stay tuned for news about the West Coast BagelFest.
Ooh, I'm excited. Do you have any final bagel for thought? I usually say food for thought, but you're very one track, so love
Um,
it.
I love hearing people's kind of stories about what the bagel means to them, unique combinations that they've stumbled into that other people find weird, but they will stick to their guns about. Um, I always say the best bagel is the one that's most accessible to you. It's the one that's the closest, but would love to connect and hear your stories, and get you involved with the bagel community.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, Sam Silverman, for joining me. Thank you for tuning in to Case Buds with Deb. Don't miss an episode. You can subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and or your favorite podcast platform. And if you go to jewishjournal.com/podcast, you can read the articles and get the recipes that go with each episode. And I foresee a bagel recipe in this article's future. And you can learn more at tastebudswithdeb.com. Until next time, enjoy the bagel, spread the bagel love, and bon appetit.